What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of After Credits. I'm Max Landis, and that's John Leguizamo. And we're here with a very special episode because, as documented on the show, I review a lot of Netflix movies. You can check my blog for those reviews. That's not a shameless plug, because I review all of them. I deserve some credit, goddammit. Daniel, with his, fucking hipsterness, never he's like, they're not real films. They're too mainstream.
Who fucking watches Netflix movies?
I do.
You finally broke down because Mudbound has been getting huge critical acclaim ever since Sundance. Some serious Oscar buzz. I don't know if the Oscars are going to nominate it.
Probably not.
For Best Picture, which is just a shame though, because this is a fantastic film.
You're right. It's really fucking good. It's about two families, one of them white, one of them black, in the midst of World War II. There are so many characters in this movie, and the movie bounces between all forms of point of view.
It's not
in a bad way.
It doesn't bounce between timelines. It's just different characters.
Just different characters, right?
Except for some of the stuff at the beginning ties into the end.
Kind of. It's one of those movies where the end of the movie, where the beginning of the movie is the end of the movie, just without the context. Jason Clarke and Carey Mulligan are married. And Jason Clarke's brother is
Garrett Hedlund.
Their father is fucking Mike from Breaking Bad, who's my favorite fucking...
We have neighbors. But yes, he's racist grandpa.
That kind of dragged my patience out a little bit. I love Mike from Breaking Bad, but there's a part of me here that's like, man, fuck this guy.
The black family, Rob Morgan is the father.
Mary J. Blige, what the fuck? I've never seen her in anything, and she was really good here.
And then their son is Jason Mitchell, from Straight Outta Compton.
Kong Skull Island for 5 seconds.
And he was in Detroit, which was another good movie.
He goes to World War II.
As does Garrett Hedlund.
The movie is about so much.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like they're shoehorned, because what this movie does is establish a bunch of characters, a bunch of points of view, and everybody's going through their own thing. This movie goes through infidelity, success and failure, the lack of expectations. It goes through racism. PTSD. It goes through PTSD. It goes through the bonding experience of soldiers. There's so much that happens here. Near the end of the movie, the whole bond of soldiers and racism takes precedence.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the way the story goes.
It sort of focuses up at the end.
It had to go there because the family situations end up there.
It's also this is clearly supposed to be an epic, but it's not ridiculously long. It's a little over, it's 2:15, something like that.
Yeah, it does kind of capture this slice of Americana where we're trying to cross into the modern age, but we're still definitely rooted in Jim Crow slavery. It's very transitory in that sense.
There's also, it's a complex view of racism. There's Mike from Breaking Bad is the hardcore old racist, and then Jason Clarke isn't the one who's shouting out racial slurs, but his sort of nonchalantness about it is clearly he's clearly part of the problem.
I have never hated the sound of knocking more than I have during Mudbound. The black family will just be sitting there and having dinner and having a good time, and then suddenly Jason Clarke just starts bashing on the door.
Yeah.
And the way he bashes on the door, because he's their landlord in the movie.
Or he owns the land.
He owns the land that they're on. It's kind of like they're his slaves. He has ownership in the sense, and the movie addresses ownership too. If you don't physically own what you have, then you're always bound to something. And I think...
Mudbound?
Yeah, I really do think Mudbound is a title that works in the sense of, you're bound to the mud, this farm, because of whatever reason you need, whether you want your own freedom or whether you want success or this ideal of the great American family, what have you. So Jason Clarke will just knock on the door and demand all these things of this family.
Right.
So casually. They're having fucking dinner. And he's just sitting there hey, I got something to do. Get off your ass and do it. And what's really fucked up is, it's not that he's demanding it. It's the expectation that this family just kind of will drop everything they're doing at a whim just to appease him. So it's racism in that sense. And then you've got Garrett Hedlund. He grows up in a racist family, but because of his experiences in war, and specifically his bonding friendship with Jason Mitchell, he's starting to see the other side.
When he talks to Jason Mitchell, he talks to him as a soldier first. Like
Yeah.
their whole racial identities is completely secondary because he's literally the only person in his sphere that can relate to his experience.
Right.
And that was a great thing with Jason Mitchell that I thought, like the fact that he goes to war and, you know, overseas when he's fighting for, you know, the United States against the Nazis, people don't think about his race because he's, you know, he's just a hero to them. And, like,
Yeah.
he has this great relationship with a woman.
This German woman.
Yeah. And then he comes back, you know, not necessarily like, you know, he you know, expects to be treated sort of in a similar way, and then comes back and it's just the same, you know, place he left off.
It's not helmed in a way that's over the top. It's helmed in the way that's miserable and disgusting, and it showcases this time period in America in its rawest fucking form. This was a fucking miserable Sid.
Yeah, this is one of probably like the roughest Sid
This
since
is
12 Years a Slave.
Really? Oh man, dude, this makes 12 Years a Slave look like fucking Song of the South.
No, 12 Years a Slave is much worse than this. 12 Years a
Oh
Slave.
no, it's not.
12 Years a Slave, there was like no hope. I like 12 Years a Slave.
12 Years a Slave looks way more Hollywood than this movie ever did.
Oh, that's.
Oh man, 12 Years a Slave is nothing.
Oh god, the scene when he's
even compared to Birth of a Nation, are you fucking serious?
12 Years a Slave. That scene where he's like hanging and they just leave him there. That is like one of the most brutal scenes I've ever seen.
That scene in Birth of a Nation where they break that dude's teeth and force feed him food to keep him alive. Not okay, but alive. I'm just saying out of brutality.
Yeah,
really...
This isn't as good of a movie as 12 Years a Slave.
Oh, yeah, it is. I
Oh.
love this way more than 12 Years a Slave.
Oh, you're wrong.
Oh, dude, 12
This
Years
is,
a Slave...
this is a great
no.
movie, but 12 Years a Slave is like legitimately like one of the best movies of the 21st
Oh
century.
my fucking god, you gotta be kidding me.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, I am. That movie is not that good.
What are you talking
It's
about?
really not. All it has going for it is Chiwetel Ejiofor, and that's
no,
about it.
Fassbender's so good in that
Fassbender's fine, but he's
Fassbender's
nowhere near...
terrifying in that movie.
Nowhere near Mike. Mike is really fucking terrifying.
Fassbender,
in this
like,
movie.
there's scenes like Fassbender when you can just see that he's holding back. Like the scene when he's just like, he puts his arm around him when he discovers the note. Like, that's like the most like on the edge of my seat I've ever been. So who was your favorite performance in this?
It was tough.
Because the two that I came away thinking about were Jason Mitchell and Garrett Hedlund. I think Jason Mitchell is better, but I think I came away thinking about Garrett Hedlund more because I was not expecting it. Because Jason Mitchell, he's been great. He was great in Straight Outta Compton. He's been great in other things. Garrett Hedlund's always been like generic actor man. He's always been like 50 Cent, Chris Pratt. In this movie, like, obviously the material's better, but it's also like in the beginning he's really charming and like suave, and then you know when you see, you know, you can clearly see he's just been broken by his experience, and then the whole bond he has with Jason Mitchell, I thought was great. I liked those war scenes. They were not like
They were really good.
they were intimate. Like it wasn't like we're gonna do a huge Dunkirk scene.
With the budget this movie had, a lot of the effects and a lot of the practical work that they were doing, I was pretty impressed by.
Like the scene, like the combat scene, like
when
it's
he's in the cockpit
like,
and his...
Yeah, it's like you don't need to see anything outside the cockpit. Like that's it. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that works dramatically.
But what you saw was great.
Exactly.
You saw the bullet holes go through the windshield. You saw the explosions in the background. I'm like, is that practical or special? I mean, it probably could be practical. I was really impressed by how that came across.
I thought Jason Clarke was good. Jason Clarke always just kind of plays like an asshole in a movie.
Kinda.
He's always just playing like, this is the sort of douchebag.
Jason Clarke is good. Not great to me. I was enthralled by Carey Mulligan a lot. Mostly because she has this great character about wanting to be in a certain place. She came from high money, and now she's stuck on this farm with this guy due to kind of obligation. And she is bound by the expectation of the time as far as women goes. It wasn't a character that was dismissible as a wife. Same with Mary J. Blige.
That's
Mary
what I
J.
was gonna
Blige
say.
impressed the fuck out of me with this.
See, like her character wasn't as prominent as I guess I was led on to expect, because people have been saying
But, I mean,
Oscar for her. But
But the second she walks on screen, and that scene where she's taking Jason Mitchell, where she's saying goodbye to him for war, and she turns his back on him. And the movie explains why, and it's
I
not...
love that scene when Jason Mitchell comes back for more. Like, that's probably my favorite scene in the movie. And Rob Morgan, like, I've seen him in a few other things.
I haven't seen him in anything, I think.
Really impressed me with this movie, like, getting to see his son after coming back from war. It was really touching stuff, and, you know, he's sort of balancing this, you know, he's the head of the family, and he gets injured.
Mary J. Blige has to take over, and he's talking about, like, man, you know, my wife is out there doing all the work, and he's angry at himself.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff going on, and it doesn't feel hackneyed, and it doesn't feel forced.
At the beginning, there's just, like, this paranoia, like the scene where they're in the car, and Jason Mitchell is tucked under so nobody sees him. Garrett Hedlund, you can see that he's kind of...
He was kind of playing it up as if to try to get on Mike's side.
Yeah, but he doesn't... I don't think he understands the consequences, which, you know, you can't really blame him for that, because he doesn't understand the extent of...
I guess
Mike.
not. It is so rooted in him, this inferiority of black human beings versus white human beings, whereas Garrett Hedlund just doesn't see that because he's of a different generation.
Right.
It
and also
is
his experience clearly colored him.
fucking brutal. Arguably, yeah, you could see that Garrett Hedlund is colorblind in the sense that, like, oh, he's my friend. Like, what does this mean? When Jason Mitchell is not dumb. He clearly understands, because of his experiences, that this stuff does matter.
Jason Mitchell's in unknown territory. He's never been able to be that open with somebody like that,
That was
before.
really cool.
Like, you know, it's like he's almost taken off guard. Like, at the beginning, it's almost like he's expecting Garrett Hedlund to have some sort of ulterior motive, and then it's like, no, this dude just literally, you know, he cares about me because
We've been through the shit.
He relates to me, and it's great. Their relationship is by far my favorite part of the movie.
Oh yeah. Spoiler alert! If you don't want to know any real things about Mudbound beyond this, just scroll here for the final thoughts and scores out of 6 stars.
Spoilers!
Whenever you see them grab Jason Mitchell, and that scene where, again, a lot with a little. This movie's really shot in the dark, but with the few moments that this movie chooses to use blood is effective.
Yeah.
Because they've got Jason Mitchell strung up, bleeding, tortured, and there's a scene where, you know, they ask Garrett Hedlund, it's like, do you cut out the tongue, eyes, or balls as punishment? You choose. He chose what I would have chosen, which is tongue.
Yeah.
It's miserable. And it's more
and you
miserable.
don't know if he's dead is the other thing.
That's true. It's miserable because you have that connection between those friends. And it's like, if somebody asked me that about you, like, that's an impossible choice to make.
It's also a movie that sets up, like, moments and consequences. So when you get to see
That's
Garrett
true.
Hedlund kill Pappy, it's like, fuck yeah.
There's a part of me, though, that honestly wished that, you know, Rob Morgan would have killed him, or, like, Jason Mitchell, just out of that vindication. Because these people get shit on so hard. You just want one of them to take their vengeance.
Yeah, but I think in the context of the movie, you know, there would be consequences that Rob Morgan would have to face as a character. Yeah. And I don't think Jason Clarke, he's too much of a, like, fucktard to do it.
Yeah. This is a kind of movie that you can talk about for 3 fucking hours because there's so much to pull off and there's so much to bring together. And the fact that Dee Rees managed to pull all this shit together and make it feel as natural as it is, it's a fucking masterclass in filmmaking. I loved it.
Welcome to our non-spoiler thoughts and scores out of 6 stars for Mudbound. Giving it a 5 out of 6. Think it's a fantastic film. Should, you know, warrant Oscar consideration. I don't know if they will because of their stupid Netflix bias. It's a really powerful movie, and I think it's a great sort of time capsule for that era. So definitely, if you're interested in that history, and sort of just like more complex sort of social themes of the era, it's really great. It does feel a little bit long in points, but I'm always sort of interested in the characters. But also, I don't remember the name of the cinematographer. Put her name like right here, but she does a fantastic job like shooting the movie, just the way it looks, the way they set up, you know, sort of the visual differences between these families and the environments, both the World War II conflict and the stuff on the farms. It's a beautiful looking movie. It's, you know, obviously not an easy watch, but I think it's one that people would be enlightened by. So I am totally recommending Mudbound. You all have Netflix. Go watch it. It's not like you have to go spend $12. Just sit down and watch it.
The only person you have to worry about being on their cell phone is the asshole next to you in your house. You can smother that motherfucker. I don't have any other reason not to, so 6 out of 6.
Oh my god.
I loved this movie from beginning to end. There was never a point where this movie lost me in any sense whatsoever. It is a masterclass movie. I really think that this is something incredibly ambitious that worked, and worked in fucking spades. The cast is incredible. The cinematographer makes this landscape. You know, there are parts of this movie that's shot in complete darkness, and yet I was still drawn into it. I was amazed at how much this fucking took me off guard. I really fucking loved it. I really wish I would have seen this in the theater, honestly, because fucking big old screen taking in that giant vista would have been fantastic, but that does not take away anything from this movie at all. Fucking amazing. 6 out of 6. Loved it. Watch it. Popcorn. Fucking get your Transformers watching friends to watch it.
I would not put
Do
this
it.
as like a popcorn movie.
I would. Yes, casual racism. Nom, nom, nom. If you like the video, click the like button down below. Also, next to it is the subscribe button. You can be the first to find out when new episodes are happening. I just realized that I was shooting that all in zoom mode, so maybe you got like my nostrils in there. But we got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go ahead and follow us on that shit. That man had a blog. He mentioned it. LiamMGawhead.wordpress.com. And next time, we're going to be talking about Call Me By Your Name, the coming of age movie about this kid that falls in love with this dude in 80s Italy.
Oh, not some dude. He falls in love with Armie Hammer. Who would not fall in love with Armie Hammer?
BuzzFeed, apparently.
Whoa! We're also going to check out Disaster Artist and Darkest Hour this weekend. So, yeah.
So, have fun watching our videos, and we'll see you later.